What is going on, guys? This is the Goat Show. I'm your host, Caleb Short. The other guy is Austin Gilkey. Let me just kill that Texas Tech crap. Although, I think that's a sign of things to come. We're going to talk a little Texas Tech football today, and that's pretty much all that's important that's happening in the world of sports is Texas Tech football. I guess there's also some Royals news we'll throw in here. Yeah. Texas Tech football and Royals news, along with my good friend, Mr. Austin Gilkey.
How's it going?
It's going great. So, I don't know if this is the most interesting show we've ever had. There's some of them that I enjoyed more, but this one has some of the biggest controversy, because for once, I think we have some true, this is true hardcore debate right here. I mean, debating the NCAA tournament, who knows what, But with the draft pick of Patrick Mahomes, I think we both have some input that we would like to input into that conversation. Personally, I know we've talked about this a good deal, but I've Patrick Mahomes, Gilkey. I don't quite understand the pick. Give me your take on it. Just give me your take and we'll start discussing this.
I mean, I was pretty angry with it originally, but I've been watching some, highlights and some. I like having a gunslinger back there, but you never know what you get with those type of quarterbacks. Those huge, strong-arm quarterbacks that, they're either boom or bust because they can't do anything else. I don't mind it considering we have Alex Smith for a couple more years and he can fit behind him. I would have rather had Deshaun Watson, but, they had a plan, I guess, because they really wanted him.
As soon as the Chiefs traded up, I was just praying that it was not Patrick Mahomes, that it was Deshaun Watson. I threw out a tweet something like, "Welcome to town, IBM Watson," and then I got to delete that a few seconds later, but... Patrick Mahomes, why are you playing for the Chiefs? All right, so here's some of my thoughts. All right, originally, like you were, I was very much against it, and I'm not a fan of Patrick Mahomes. I do not think Patrick Mahomes is going to turn out to be a professional guy or a Pro Bowl level quarterback. I mean, I guess everybody makes a Pro Bowl. Matt Castle and Alex Smith both make Pro Bowls, but I don't look at him and see Pro Bowl guy. Everybody's saying Brett Favre. I don't see Brett Favre. You can look at my Twitter account right now, @TheCalebShort. It's going to be pinned there, and I'm going to leave this tweet pinned at the top of my Twitter. When I look at Patrick Mahomes, I see Ryan Mallett potential. I do not see Brett Favre. If you didn't know, Ryan Mallett played backup quarterback for a while, got a chance to possibly start, and it didn't happen. He got beat out by, what's that guy from the Texans?
Tom Savage?
No, Hoyer. He got beat out by Brian Hoyer 2 years ago for the starting job in Houston after he got traded from the Patriots. Brian Hoyer. So no, I do not look at this pick and see stars.
He can throw the ball farther than Brett Favre could.
Yeah, he can throw the ball, but Brett Favre has every single intangible, every single one of them that you can think of for a quarterback. Brett Favre has.
I do like that Patrick Mahomes. There's no trouble that comes with that guy, and
yeah, he
seems like a genuine.
In general, the Chiefs drafted really safe this year. They didn't pick anybody scary.
I like their draft, actually. Other than Mahomes is the only kind of questionable one. I think they're doing that because this up there, they might pass the ball more.
All right, I just lost you there. What was that point you just made?
I said the Patrick Mahomes thing is probably because I feel like we're trying to up the passing game a little bit more.
Yeah. So here's some of my lesser points. Like, these are things that you're not going to see in the hashtag liberal fake news media. These are points that they aren't making out there. Um, I think this means that John Dorsey and Andy Reid are in this for the long haul. There's been a lot of rumors about Andy Reid possibly even retiring after this year, if not retiring at some point soon. I don't think you take a Patrick Mahomes if you're in it for, one last ride. I don't think you're taking a pick that is not going to have an impact for at the bare minimum 1 year, most likely 2 or 3 years. So I think that means Andy Reid might be thinking about sticking in football a little bit longer than a lot of people that I've heard talking about saying that he would. So that, I suppose, is a positive from me. I'm still not a fan of Patrick Mahomes, but if it means that we get to keep Andy Reid a little bit longer, I'm okay with that, I suppose. All of his clock management issues and all. And like every single person says, I guess I'll reiterate it, he is coming into the perfect system. There's the other teams that were interested in Mahomes were, I believe, the Saints and the Giants. Plus the Cardinals were also rumored to take him if he made it to 14. But the Saints and the Giants as well. And those were other teams that were going to be good systems, where he was either sitting behind Eli Manning or Drew Brees, both probably Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I would say Andy Reid's got the coaching edge over John McAdoo or whatever that guy's name from New Orleans is. I would say Andy Reid's got probably a better quarterback groomer. So I'm a fan of him being in a system where he's not going to have to play and he's behind Andy Reid. What were you trying to say there?
I was saying the coach for New Orleans is Sean Payton.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Did you know John McAdoo from the Giants?
Yes, I did. I don't think it's John.
Sean? Ron? Don?
No. I think
I don't.
Isn't it?
I don't know what you just said.
Isn't it Bob?
Bob? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Google break. Oh, come on. Where's my cursor? All right. New York Giants coach. Ben. We're both wrong. We suck. I was close, wasn't I? What was my first one?
You said John.
John, Ben, same thing. Anyway, back on topic. Who cares about freaking Ben McAdoo? I like the system that he's going to be in. He's going to have Andy Reid, and if Andy Reid intends to stick around for the long haul and try and develop this kid, that can't be a bad thing. But still, I look at I've been a fan of the Chiefs not drafting quarterback. You draft quarterback with the number 1 pick of the draft, or you draft quarterback in the 3rd, 4th round-ish. And in that case, you're taking a flyer. But these quarterbacks that grade out mid-first round into the 2nd round, when do they pan out? You hear about, I'm now blanking on names. You got your Russell Wilson, you got your Dak Prescott guys that come out of the 3rd, 4th round. You know that your team is taking flyers on, and just if you end up having to plug them in, then you do it and you hope they pan out. And then you've got your top end of the draft guys, which is your classic Jameis Winston. I'm blanking on so many names. Andrew Luck. What's that guy from the Titans name? Marcus Mariota. You've got those guys that grade out right at the very top of the draft. If you're not good enough as a quarterback to be picked number 1, then I don't really trust you. I didn't really have much of a chance to do research on this, but can you tell me any quarterbacks that graded out into that mid to late 1st round into the 2nd round type guys that have panned out?
I would assume there's some big names, but I have no idea.
Here, I don't know what Googling is going to do for me here, but let's try it.
What about a Ben Roethlisberger or something? I have no freaking clue.
I think I couldn't tell you where Ben was drafted. This is high quality radio right here. Roethlisberger. See, you should research stuff like this. Drafted. My computer's doing dumb stuff right now. My fingers are cold. I don't care what team he was. He was selected 11th overall, so I guess he's in that grade. I still think my point stands though. If you're gonna draft a quarterback, they should be that number one guy. And while we're at it, Mitch Trubinsky. I think we were going to talk about this later, but let's talk about this just a touch right now. The Bears are morons. How many picks did you just give up for a guy that started like 13 games in college?
Wasn't it like 4?
Yeah, they gave up a freaking haul to move up one spot. If you're that desperate for a quarterback, there's other ones out there. I don't know if they notice this. In that spot, you can trade back. The Bills were obviously willing to trade their pick. They could have traded back in the draft.
Here's my question: why were teams overlooking Deshaun Watson so much? To me, he's the top quarterback in that class.
Well, he's
the winner.
He's obviously the one that's played in the pro style offense, and he's won a lot of games. He's got a pretty deep ball. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes moved up so much. I always looked at him, and I loved Patrick Mahomes in college because I love watching that style of offense. But I recognize that in the NFL, throwing the ball 40 yards through the air every play is not going to be an effective strategy. The pass rushers are too fast, and they're going to get into your face before you can throw those deep balls every pass. The coverage is too strong. There's so many things.
No, when you have Tyreek Hill, you can just throw it in the air and he'll go get it.
The league is going to adjust to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill scored 12 touchdowns last year. If I had to put a number on it next year, even with he's going to have a bigger workload early in the season, I bet he's an 8 to 9 touchdown kind of guy. The league is going to adjust to him, and that's including him getting a couple punt return touchdowns, which he is obviously insane at. The
dude is too fast. Not a single corner can guard that guy.
He's going to draw more coverage. That's for sure. I would assume that if Macklin's healthy, or who's that guy we drafted? We drafted a receiver from Michigan. What was that guy?
It's like Jehu Chesson or something.
That sounds. Jehu Chesson. I've heard a lot of bad stuff talked about him because the Chiefs kind of reached for him.
He's gonna play.
I would assume though people outside of Tyreek Hill are gonna have better numbers because teams are gonna have to shade towards him more than they probably already were.
He's gonna play, dude. I think he's gonna be an impact player this year.
Hot takes: Jehu Chesson leads teams in receptions through week 5.
He's 6'2". Got a big frame. He has 35-inch arms, dude. His catch radius is insane, and he runs a 4.4. I don't know why this dude fell. He had an off season, but crap, man. In college,
yeah, he's a really smart guy. I've heard he has a master's degree in something. They were talking about that. So he's a smart, intelligent guy. I assume he'll pick up the offense quickly, and hopefully he can make an impact.
They said they also got him because he's not one of those Odell Beckham, that flashy that always has to talk and really like all.
Yeah, if you've heard his story, he's from one of those Eastern African countries. I don't want to guess on which one and sound like a moron, but he's from one of those not Eastern, Western Africa countries. Was it Eastern? I think it was Western. He was able to come over here with like his grandparents or something, and.
He does. Yeah, they said he doesn't miss practices. He doesn't miss games. He's going to be there.
And that can't be a bad thing. Another pick from the Chiefs that I've heard, he's a good running back, don't get me wrong, Kareem Hunt. But I've heard a lot of people talk about how the Chiefs reached for him as well.
I don't think so.
There was a lot of running backs in this draft, and he's a good pick. And the Chiefs obviously like him, so that's why they went. And in the 3rd round, if you're reaching for guys, it's not really that big a deal. It's not like picking Mitch Trubinsky with your 2nd pick. Like, what the crap are you doing? But
the only other 2 running backs who could even maybe take over him are Samaje Perine and that Deontay Foreman from Texas.
Yeah, Big 12 guys, power backs. I don't know.
But I saw that this Kareem Hunt guy is probably they think he's gonna start.
From what I heard about him, there was some stat. What was it? His stat was like he had like the most tackle. He had the highest percentage of tackles broken of any running back in the draft. So he's a power guy that can run through arm tackles, and so
Yeah,
that that should rotate in nicely with Spencer Ware.
Like I said, they think Kareem Hunt's going to be a starter day one.
So here's my thing: avoid the Chiefs' backfield like a plague in fantasy. We're gonna get fantasy shows here pretty soon, Gilkey. That's the thing about the NFL. This was actually a thought I had earlier today. Stash whatever I was talking about with running backs or bull crap like that. While baseball is trying to take up less of your time and trying to get out of your way, the NFL is just demanding every second of it. I don't know if you noticed, but football season doesn't start. Training camp doesn't start for like 3 or 4 months. I'm not quite sure how long it is. Training camp doesn't start for a long time, and we're talking about the NFL right now. So that's just how the NFL is. They want every second of your life, and baseball's trying to get out of your way right now. They realize that we don't like them as much as we do the NFL. Anyway, back to running backs.
Yeah, I like the Kareem Hunt pick. I also really like the defensive end pick because that guy looks like a physical specimen, dude. He looks like freaking nature.
I mean, if you play defensive end as an NFL prospect, I hope you're a freak of nature.
He's 6'7", 285, and runs like a 4.6 40 or some crap. That's insane.
All right, so I was looking at this what is this? NFL.com draft rating every team's draft. They really like the Bills draft, and I would too. They picked up a lot of picks to move out of that 10th spot, so I assume they did all right. The Chiefs, though, what is the Chiefs draft grade? I had it right here. The Chiefs got a B+ overall draft grade. They rated their day 1 pick as a B+. They rated their day 2 as an A, so that would be their second and third round picks, and their day 3 as a C. Any arguments with that? I would say the day 1, you have to give that a C because that is the middle between A and F, and that is what you're looking at with Patrick Mahomes. He will either flame out, or he could be awesome, and more than likely he'll be average, and average is a C.
I do. Day 2 is Kareem Hunt in that defensive end, right? I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, and that deserves an A. I like those 2 picks a lot.
Yeah, a guy out of Villanova. You don't hear about. I didn't even know Villanova had a football team. I legitimately thought they were a basketball-only school.
Day 3, they're sleeping on that Chesson. I'm telling you. He had like 900 yards and 9 or 10 touchdowns his junior year.
And then beyond that, you're talking about 5th and 6th round picks. Who cares? You know?
The 5th round, that linebacker, I don't know. He has really good measurables. Like, he's a big guy. He's 4.5 40. Like, he's going to be able to chase down anybody over there. Yeah, and not a single tight end is going to be faster than him. So he can cover the seam.
We picked another safety, so I mean, we already spent the most money in NFL history on a safety, and we got to pick up more of them. So that's cool. I mean, it's a 6th round pick. It doesn't matter, but.
Where is he from? USC? Is that it?
Yeah.
I read this that they were trying to make him like a nickel corner. They drafted him to be a corner, not a safety.
Well, the Chiefs can use more corners, as it did not start out pretty last year.
A really intelligent guy. He's fast. They said that they want to make him a corner.
Why? Why are the Chargers moving to Los Angeles? I'm scrolling through this and it says Los Angeles Chargers. Just go, oh. Why?
I saw a picture of Mike Williams with his Chargers jersey in Wembley Stadium or whatever not even Wembley Stadium, whatever the fuck that place is.
What?
That they're going to be.
Oh, StubHub Center.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Wembley. That's retarded. That's just a first thing that came to my mind.
Nice job, Gilkey.
That's just the first thing that came to my mind, but I know it's a soccer place, okay? It's tiny.
Yeah. Well,
saw a picture of Mike Williams, and in the background there's just this like 25,000 seated place. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing?
yeah, well, the thing is, they're going for the Rams were not able to sell out the Coliseum, and the Coliseum's massive. It holds like 90,000 if they open up the entire thing. So they weren't able to sell that out, and so the Chargers' idea is, hey, we need to provide something different than the Rams, because the Rams, if you didn't notice, can't fill that place up. And why would, if they're not going to Rams games, why would they go to Chargers games? But if we offer something, a more intimate experience, right up next to the action, no matter where you are, that might attract people to go to Chargers games. Plus, now the NFL doesn't have to worry about scheduling issues by scheduling the two on the same. They can schedule them both on the same day and be fine.
True. I just don't like the idea of a tiny ass.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I mean, I didn't like the move to Los Angeles. I don't like that the Raiders are gonna move. I don't like.
Yeah. So the Rams were not.
I like the Rams needed to move.
Yeah. That stadium is garbage. Whatever that dome. That I can't remember what it's called, but that dome they had in St. Louis was garbage, and they weren't going to get a new stadium. If the Cardinals asked for a stadium, they give it to them, but the Rams, they weren't loved enough by the government in the city to build a stadium. So I can see them moving out. Plus, Stan Kroenke, he's an asshole. But the Raiders are loved in Oakland. They're one of the top 5 fan bases in the NFL, probably top 2.
I would say top 2. They're freaking those guys. Those fans are nuts.
Who's the other one in your top 2? I was going to go Chiefs just for homerness.
I wouldn't even say. I wouldn't want to say Chiefs are one, but I still don't think they're Oakland way.
Yeah, so like top fan bases in the NFL, you got the Chiefs, you got the Raiders, you got the Seahawks, and then from there, I don't know who the other ones you'd throw in there. The Cowboys, and Packers. That'll be my 5. And throw maybe the Steelers in there over the Chiefs if you're weird like that. But the Chiefs have one of the better fan bases in the NFL.
I know the Patriots have a ton of bandwagon fans.
Well, the Patriots were garbage, like, before this whole Tom Brady era, and so their fan base is a lot newer.
I will say the Chiefs, through being garbage for years, their fans still show up. I mean, they're good fans.
Yeah, and we're able to put up with. This is $60 for parking. Chiefs fans put up with it. That's nuts. It's not like with some stadiums, with a downtown stadium, parking should be expensive because there's none of it. You should, if you don't want to pay the money, you can ride in on public transportation. With the Chiefs stadium, your entire place is surrounded by parking. Parking is not at a premium, You've got that parking lot is going to there's going to be that lot there. It's paid for. You don't need to be paying for it with parking money. I don't get why the Chiefs should have expensive parking. Anyway,
and I want to go to it.
Yeah, if you're going to a Chiefs game, you got to know somebody and get a parking pass. Anyway, anything else on the Chiefs draft? I don't think so. We've been going for a while on it. I
don't got any.
So next up, I want to play what is probably the greatest NFL draft audio in the history of the NFL. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard it. Well, let's just go ahead and tune in to the Cowboys' second-round draft pick.
To announce the Dallas Cowboys selection, please welcome the University of Tulsa wide receiver Drew Pearson.
All right. How about them Cowboys? I want to thank the Eagle fans for allowing me to have a career in the NFL. Thank you. I am honored as an undrafted free agent to be selected to make the Cowboys second-round draft pick. And on behalf of the 5-time world champion Dallas Cowboys, Hall of Fame owner Jerry Jones, Gene Jones and the Jones family, Coach Jason Garrett, all the Cowboy players
all-time great pick announcement. I am.
All right, so I don't know if you could hear that, Gilkey. I don't think you could, but I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps every time I hear that audio.
I saw it on TV.
Holy
It was awesome.
crap, I love that. See, there's certain things the NFL gets right. The NFL gets a lot of things wrong. Right now, there's a lot of talk about the marijuana policy. I don't think we're going to really touch on that much, but Roger Goodell came out against allowing players to smoke that tumbleweed after games or anything really. The thing is, the NFL does not do random drug tests during the season. They do them during the off season, so they're not really preventing you, just so long as you know what's coming ahead of time. But the NFL gets some things wrong. We all know that. The Deflategate should not have been as big a deal as it was. But it got blown out of proportion because the NFL is bad at handling things like that. But there are certain things the NFL gets right. And the draft is one thing that they are getting right. It used to always be in the Radio City Music Hall, I believe that's what it was called, in New York. And then they realized, wait, we can turn this into an event. And this year, it was outside. I believe the number was like 70,000 people attending it.
I think it was close.
Whatever the number was. It was like a music festival. It was huge. People were out there booing Goodell. And the NFL loves it. You know, moments like that do not happen in other drafts. The NBA draft, I've never once watched the NBA draft. And I care about the NBA draft more because there's people in it that I care about and I want to see where they go. The baseball draft is 50 rounds and it happens over the phone pretty much. Like, nobody watches that. It's just kind of the next day you find out who your team drafted. But the NFL draft, they do it right. And moments like that, that's what's good about the NFL. Passion, you know? That dude is 66 years old. And he is hated by the Philadelphia fans. And he loves every second of it. And that's awesome. I love it.
That is a beautiful thing. That man would whip young kids' ass.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier today. Like, that guy, I looked him up. He was like a receivers coach like 20 years ago or something. But that guy needs to be in coaching. He does some motivational speaking, and you can tell. That dude, every time, I'm probably going to set that as my alarm. I'm going to have that guy freaking, whatever his name is, Byron? No, that's the wrong name. Drew something. What's his name, Austin? Help me out. What?
Drew Pearson.
Yeah, Drew Pearson. I want Drew Pearson to scream at me every morning about Hall of Fame owner Jerry Jones. I don't know, what, Dean Jones or something in the entire Jones family. Coach Jason Garrett. All the Cowboys that played before him, with him, and after him. Oh my goodness, I love that audio. The other great story out of the NFL draft that isn't really Chiefs related is the video. You guys will have to look it up. I'm too lazy to put links in the description, but look up Jerry Jones wipes booger or whatever.
Not Roger Goodell.
Not Jerry. Yeah, not Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, good guy, man. I love Jerry Jones. I don't care about Jerry.
Trust Jerry Jones. Don't take Jerry Jones' career away from him.
Dude, Jerry Jones tries hard enough to get freaking a franchise ripped from him. Dude, I mean, he hasn't done anything like, he hasn't come out blatantly racist or anything yet. So I guess he gets to keep his franchise for now. But yeah, Roger Goodell out here wiping boogers on little girls with one leg. That is the thing the NFL gets wrong, is just having Roger Goodell, the most stuffy, arrogant white guy, running your league. If you want to know how to run a league, people like Adam Silver or whatever, he's doing it good in the NBA. Dana White, though, that's how you run an organization.
He be making big money, boy.
Well, that, and he just comes out and he looks knowledgeable, you know? You look at Dana White and he looks like he gets it, you know? He looks like he's right there with the fighters. Roger Goodell doesn't look like he understands anything about his players, you know?
He doesn't. He doesn't care. Dana White is a guy who loves fighting. He grew the crap out of UFC.
And then
That thing started off as
and then sold it at the right time. You know, he made a lot of money, but then he continues working with it because he's good at it.
Yeah, he owns part of it.
Yeah, but he sold off enough of it that now he's 100% financially stable and can do this as a regular job without risking any. Because let's be honest, someday there's a lot of stuff about the MMA that I predict. Like, if I'm an investor, I'm not investing in the NFL. The NFL is huge right now, but the NFL is going to start dropping. The ratings started dropping last year, and and at some point that football is not going to be legal by the time, or it might still be legal, but it won't be socially acceptable by the time I'm 80. I'm very sure of that. I think if you're going to invest in a sport, I also would not invest in the MMA or UFC because cage fighting, that humankind or mankind or whatever, we're always moving away from stuff like that. And so I wouldn't be investing in it right now. And so I'm glad he got his money while he could. I mean, not that I'm against the NFL or anything. I just know that's how things work. Something like soccer, I see. Soccer is going to grow. Basketball is going to grow. And I see a resurgence in baseball at some point. Because right now you've got a bunch of parents out there saying that aren't going to let a lot of mothers and fathers, a lot of mothers out there saying that they don't want their kid to play football. And those kids are going to gravitate towards something, and it could be baseball. And so I expect to see a resurgence in baseball. That's my hot take. Invest in baseball.
One, kids have to have personality and swagger. It's not just like, oh, they're good. You need a lot of guys like Bryce Harper to come up.
Yeah, and that's something baseball does a lot better than the NFL, is letting players be themselves. Now, obviously, baseball doesn't have quite the same people. Like, you don't have a Gronk in baseball, you know?
You don't have like a Ray Lewis type that used to.
You don't have a lot of freaking badass dudes that people just know that's a real man. But baseball is a sport that I very much predict baseball is going to come back. If you're an investor right now, invest hard in baseball, and in 20 years when it's paying off like crazy, because baseball is at as low as it's going to be right now. Baseball, the profitability of baseball is as high as it's ever been, but things like TV ratings and stuff are very low right now. And I don't project that to stay the same, because these kids that are growing up right now, when we were growing up, and more than likely, and more of in like the age bracket before us, it was football. But now we know so much about concussions that it's not going to be football anymore. You know, I think our generation was when parents were starting it, and in 10 years, Pop Warner football is probably, you're not going to see Pop Warner teams anywhere. Because there's so many parents that are not a fan of that. I mean, it's a thought that I haven't really had too much of, but I don't think I want my kid playing football. You know?
To me, right now, I haven't had a kid yet, of course, so it could easily change. It's just because those things change. It's in the moment. But to me, I would let them play, most likely, if it's something they truly love. But you got to know going in what the heck you're getting yourself into. Like, you could have emergency room visits, all sorts of costs and injuries, and crap like that. I love football. I love the hell out of football. Why didn't I play it in high school? One, my knees were already kind of jacked up, and I can say it, I was afraid of jacking them up more.
Yeah, I would say I played football in middle school just because I wanted to play football, but I knew I was not going to play high school football. I am bad. I am terrible at big decisions, but football is one that I had made up in like somewhere during 7th grade. I'm going to play middle school football. I'm not going to play high school football. I knew that.
To me, I love football. I was good at it. I have good hands. I was a good tight end, but at the same time, my knees already being weak from growing and having to deal with that like for almost 3 years of my high school life. Dude, if I took one shot to the knee, I might never be able to walk right again. Yeah. And that's something I wasn't willing to risk at all.
Safety equipment, I don't think safety equipment's going to improve much from here. You know, like what right now they're just changing around the way different things are made. They're not inventing new stuff. They're just changing how helmets are made.
An idea for you.
What?
The only thing I can see is like if you develop this system inside a helmet and you have these like colored lights or whatever, okay? And like you take if a player takes a shot and like this light pops up red or yellow, whatever color, you know, that alerts something that you see this guy, because it's like locked up into their head, so it's like taking impulses or whatever. And it's like when the guy takes a hit and it shows that light, and then you know that they took a big hit to the head, and then you just take them out, something like that. But that's so much money.
Well, the thing is, though, that's I don't know what the word. You want prevention, not just. You don't just want to know when it happens. You want to prevent it from happening in the first place.
Develop a damn helmet that'll take away hits.
That's the thing, though. I don't see how they're going to improve helmets anymore from here. Right now, if you look at helmets from 10 years ago and helmets right now, they aren't made with different stuff. They're just improving how it is made. It's not like they're going to invent new foam that suddenly keeps your brain from being jarred when you get smacked in the head. I don't think football. I've been saying this for a while. I'm not definitive on very many things. I am, for the most part, wishy-washy on most things. I've been in college for 2 years. I don't know what I'm majoring in. But football will not. Football is on the decline's already starting. Football will most likely not be legal by the time I'm 80. And if it is legal, it will not be popular. It'll be thrown in the same category as boxing, where it still exists, but
I love it. It'll suck not to watch football on Sundays.
I mean, that's what baseball right now is suffering, because you've got to think about things 20 years earlier when those kids were being born and their parents were making decisions. Right now, baseball is in somewhat of a down period, because 20 years ago, baseball was kind of boring. You know, parents were going, you know what, play football, play basketball, or whatever. Right? But right now, those parents, 20 years later, are not pointing their kids towards football. They're pointing their kids away from football. And so
you've
got to think that's going to catch up with the NFL at some point. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, but football is not going to be a thing.
Everything's going to grow except the NFL.
The other thing is, point your kids towards baseball, because a huge deal in football is well below average money in baseball. You know, if you sign Alex Smith's getting paid like $20 million a year, I think, right? And that's a real. Wait, here, let me look that up. All right, Alex Smith contract. Alex Smith signed a 4-year, $68 million deal, so he's getting paid. What is that? Something like. Math is hard, but that's under $20 million a year. That's like 16, 17, 15, 18, 16 million. I don't know. It's not all that much. And that's not guaranteed money. All right? He had $45 million guaranteed. an average salary of $18 million. Now, baseball contracts are all guaranteed. And so let's go Ian Kennedy. That is somebody he was one of the higher paid players on the Royals team. Alex Smith is one of the higher paid players on the Chiefs team. Let me pull up Ian Kennedy's contract. I should have had this prepared ahead of time because I was thinking about this point earlier. Ian Kennedy is making $70 million a year, 100% guaranteed. If Ian Kennedy blows out his arm, he keeps
$70 million a year.
No, $70 million for the contract. Alex Smith is getting paid, has a $45 million contract. Ian Kennedy has a $70 million contract. Alex Smith, if he gets a concussion and decides he gets, smashed in the head, and he can't ever come back, he gets cut. He loses next year's salary because they're going to cut him. If he, let's say he I don't know, he gets hurt in the offseason or something. Ian Kennedy gets hurt, he makes all of that money. And that's the thing about baseball. And Alex Smith was a bad example. If you're an average baseball player to an average football player, the baseball player makes more. A lot more. And with football, the owners and the league have so much more control. The Baseball Players Association is way more powerful. And so the money is better in baseball. The potential injuries are lesser in baseball. Baseball is going to come back. I don't see why it wouldn't. I'm not a professional financial caster, but that's something I don't hear anyone talking about, is how football is going to die out and baseball is going to return. And I'm probably a bigger football fan than I am baseball fan, but I see it that way. Anyway, let's stop talking. That I think leads us nicely into baseball, Austin. What do you think?
Yeah, it does.
So let's segue into baseball. How about them Royals? Remember that? What were they before this 8-game losing skid?
No big deal.
8 games ago, they were 7-7, right? Yeah, they were
something like that.
They were a 500 baseball team 8 games ago. Now they're 7-15, and people are giving up on the season. I will come out and say I am not giving up on the season. I don't think the Central Division is all that strong. It's the Central Division. You're going to be able to win it with something like 92 wins. Will probably win the division. I don't see Cleveland repeating what they were able to do last year. The White Sox are currently leading the division, and they're not good. And Minnesota's not that good either. So I think the Royals, if they can make up some ground and just start winning division games, they'll be good. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not giving up on the season.
They need a win streak.
Yeah, that would be good to balance out the loss streak. Right now, they're averaging 2 1/8 runs per game over the last 8, which is 2.125, which is not good.
That's only 4 runners, and the rest are like 0 or 1.
Yeah, they have 2. They have a game where they scored 5 and a game where they scored 4. Had we done this show a few days ago, when I suggested that was back when they were only on a 5-game losing streak. But over that 5-game, let me calculate that real quick. 3, 4. They were averaging like 1.1 or 1.2 runs a game over that 5. So they've bumped it up a little bit, but haven't been able to win. Team is not doing anything particularly well. The offense has been sucking, and the pitching is falling back down, because when you put so much stress on your pitchers, you tell them, we're not going to give you any run support. They're going to start trying to throw perfect pitches. And when you start trying to when you start throwing the ball and, trying to throw perfect spots, you're going to start missing them. You're going to start pressing. And that's when you leave them over the plate and bad things happen. I'm going to let you talk.
Yeah, the pitching's falling back down. Like, I can't say that way. The batting has to make up for it now, and it just hasn't been there. No one's hitting the ball particularly well.
Yeah. All right. What do you think the leading average on the team is?
Probably 300, maybe.
Lorenzo Cain, 276.
Is he leading?
Yeah, Lorenzo Cain leading the team with a 276 average. Which, that's
That's
nothing against
horrendous.
Lorenzo Cain. Lorenzo Cain, that's perfectly fine. I'll take 276 out of you for now. That should not be
Hosmer
leading
needs.
the team.
No.
Especially
is,
when you're a team that's always prided itself on getting on base, putting pressure on the defense, getting dinks and dunks, single run.
Thing is, Hosmer's just thought of so highly, and yet he's not playing a single good game, really. He's ass. And then Gordon, everyone loves Gordon. I'm sorry to tell people, I've been saying it forever, he's overrated.
What? Are you kidding? He's batting like 1-something, but that's fine. He's playing good defense.
Obviously, it don't matter.
It doesn't. That was a joke.
He
All right, so we can't hear Austin right now, and that's fine. Okay, Austin, I don't know what you just said, but make your points again.
I said he hasn't hit the ball well in years. Like, don't sign the dingus to a contract extension. Get rid of him while people still think he's decent.
So this was an interesting point. Somebody on 610 was making this point a few days ago. Maybe it was a week ago at this point. I couldn't tell you. But the biggest mistake of the Dayton Moore era was signing Alex Gordon and not signing... What's his name? Now I'm forgetting crap. That guy that's at the Cubs now, and Zobrist. Signing... I'm bad with names on the pressure, guys. Give me a break. Signing Alex Gordon over Zobrist, because Zobrist actually got less money than Gordon, and Zobrist tore the cover off the ball last year, and he's starting out kind of cold this year, but Zobrist obviously would have been a better investment than Alex Gordon.
Can't be batting 110 cold.
Yeah, obviously not. But the thing at the time was Zobrist is 2 years older. Alex Gordon will take a hometown discount. Alex Gordon plays better outfield. He's a Gold Glove guy. They're similar batters was kind of the thing. Alex Gordon, he's younger and he's never really been hurt. He's more durable. Well, Alex Gordon spent the next season pretty much on the DL for most of it. And not most of it, like he spent 2 months or something like that. And Zobrist went and won a world title. Zobrist got less money. There's a reason nobody else was signed. Other teams probably saw that. Alex Gordon won at $100 million contract. He ended up with an 80 or 70 something with the Royals. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like 72 million. He ended up with a smaller contract than the Royals. The Royals were really his fallback option, and he's better be glad the Royals were there, because I don't know what he would have gotten, but if he went somewhere else, but it would not have probably been 72 million.
He's so bad. And then we're supposed to trade all these guys away if the season keeps going like this.
Yeah,
no one's gonna want people.
The only guy with real value that I think the Royals can trade is Mike Moustakas. If he goes to the right team, he can provide a little third base pop. But Moose is also a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Moose is also a guy, like, he's one of the only guys that's really could be retainable. I don't know if the Royals would want to keep him around and try and sign him.
I don't want Hosmer. Sorry, ladies. You're going to have to hop off the Royals bandwagon because Hosmer needs to be gone.
Yeah, go sit in left field and stare at Gordon.
Needs to be gone. I don't want Gordon here. I don't want Hosmer here.
Well, Gordon's here. Gordon will play the rest of his career in Kansas City. Don't you worry about that.
Bench his ass. I don't care who you put in there. Don't play him.
By the way, Alex Gordon batting 181. Alcides Escobar, he's the real problem. He's a bigger problem for me. 167. Brandon Moss, your new designated hitter, 143. We got rid of Roel Mondesi, but he was batting 103. Christian Cologne, that other replacement that could have played for him, 091. Aren't you glad we brought up Whit Merrifield? He's batting 233. He's really been hot. One of the better hitters on the team. Jorge Bonifacio through 6 games batting 300, so he's doing okay. That's about it for people that are playing particularly over-exceeding.
Can we just sell our whole team away and just bring in a bunch of average to below average?
All right, who are your tradable pieces? Your tradable pieces, Hosmer will be tradable. What are you going to get for, as of right now, 224 average, 6 RBIs? 6 RBIs.
Not a single one.
Whatever. I'm looking for his home run number. I'm not seeing it. Oh, that's because he only has 1 home run. You're gonna
either had 0.
Who wants a? Nobody is out there trading for Eric Hosmer, a man who, a month into the season, has 1 home run. You know what that puts him on pace for? I don't know, something in the range of like 15. Maybe
that's power, right?
Maybe a little less than 15, but yeah, that's not particularly
I think
good.
Hitting righties could switch to left hand and hit freaking 15 home runs.
I wouldn't go quite that far, but yeah. Other tradable pieces.
Everyone in Cornell, left-hand batter's box, he hits 15 home runs just swinging with 1 arm.
All right, other tradable pieces. Does anybody want a now declining shortstop who's batting 181 or 167? I mean, you're not trading Escobar. I think Escobar's got a year after this year left on his deal too. Mike Moustakas is really the only good trade chip you have right now in terms of major league ready talent.
Moustakas is a guy I like. He can stay.
Yeah, you only want to trade away the crap so you can get like some, single A prospect with no upside.
Stick him in the game. We ain't getting any worse.
That was the thing this guy was talking about the Mets and how the Mets also are not starting out incredibly strong. They're better than the Royals, obviously, but they're not starting out strong. They're like, by September, when nobody's going to Mets games, Tim Tebow will be called up, was his bold prediction.
Not to MLB.
To the MLB was his prediction. He is now active. This guy is a lifelong Mets fan, but he doesn't see anything happening this year. So he's like, I am now actively rooting against the Mets so that Tim Tebow can get called up.
Is Tim Tebow even in single A, or is he like...
Yeah, he's in single A, and he's batting about 250 right now.
Hell, the Royals could use a 250 hitter.
Yeah, he's not doing that against Major League pitching. But he has more home runs than Eric Hosmer.
Oh, look at Tim Tebow. He's built like a tank.
Yeah, he also hasn't played baseball since like high school.
Well, you got to give him props. He's doing halfway decent. It's not like
anyway.
He's doing absolute ass.
Other trade chips on the Major League roster. Can we trade away any pitching? You can trade away like a Vargas if you wanted to. I don't know why you would. I don't see much of the pitching as being tradable.
No, we don't have much trade pieces. That's the thing. We're just going to have to sit here and suffer.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Royals are going to be, as of right now, the Royals are sellers at the deadline. Because right now, the Royals aren't playing a 162-game season. They're playing a 100-ish game season until the trade deadline. And as of right now, the Royals are going to be sellers at the deadline. And teams know that. So you think the Royals are going to be, getting really good Royals-friendly offers? Heck no. All
right, that means suck ass for the next 20 years.
The best thing that can possibly happen to the Royals right now is a couple of these crap guys turn it on, but the Royals continue to lose. Like, if Hosmer turns it on, and I don't know, give me an Escobar turns it on, and Moustakas keeps it up, and we're able to sell the farm and retool, that's probably best possible scenario. Because I don't see this team. Here's another thing I was thinking about. I heard somebody say, this is like a caller on a show, talk about how the way Hosmer's playing, the Royals might be able to re-sign him. Do you want to re-sign him if he's playing like this? Like, there's no possible way Hosmer's coming back, you stupid freaking caller. The options are he plays terrible and he comes back to the Royals price range and then the Royals don't want him, or he plays awesome and he's way out of the Royals price range.
Was the caller a woman?
I don't believe so, but
that would make sense. Every girl on the planet that apparently is a Royals fan. Who's your favorite player? Hosmer, he's so hot. Shut up.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned. I don't know if I told you this, Gilkey, but I was talking to this girl from St. Louis that I met on that trip. Just a little backstory for the 2 audience fans we have, and she was telling me that these seats in left field that she had tickets to the game. She sent me a Snapchat from the game. Like this was her favorite seats because she liked the view from there. Why? I can't remember his name. But
Piscotti?
No, not Piscotti. Who's the Cardinals left fielder? Ian, go.
I have no idea.
1 second. I see pictures of him. Tell me his name. What the heck is this guy's name? It's showing me a bunch of pictures of him. Google's failing me. What is this dude's name?
I feel like I get it if I get the
Randall Grichuk.
starting letter.
Randall Grichuk. She just said she's like, I like the view. I'm like, I said something like, I thought you'd like something with the arch in the background. You can't see it from over there. She's like, no, I just like looking at Randall's ass. Oh. She's like, left fielder's got it going on. And then she said something about Alex Gordon. So, there you go.
Stop with the left field crap. I don't want to hear it. I would pick anybody out there and take him over Alex Gordon. We might not get the same defensive production, but anybody who can swing the bat might at least hit the ball. I mean, you could put a blind guy out there and just have him swing the bat, and he might hit the ball more than Alex Gordon does at this point.
I suppose. What was I about to say? I had a good point. Oh, if we cut Alex Gordon or whatever, replace him, we can't sell Gordo Nation theme tickets like once a month or whatever. They have those where you get everybody out there in Gordo Nation with their shirts and everything. We need to keep them around for that promotion.
I don't give a shit.
We used to have, I think, didn't Jeff Rancour play right field?
Yep.
Yeah, he's been part of our rotating door. We used to have the French Quarter out there. That was pretty cool.
Just trash the whole team almost and put scrubs in there.
I can't believe I managed to find a way to talk Cardinals baseball on a show without Ian.
I was trying to mention Ian. I'm like, he can pass for Hosmer with the haircut, and we'll stick him out there and see if he can give us production.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, how about we just put everybody in a hat, shake it around, and then throw everybody in random positions for a game? I mean, we're going to lose no matter what we do. So let's just, let the boys go out there, mess around, have some fun, and let's pitch position players for a game. Let's throw a couple pitchers in the outfield. And we'll do that for a week or so. We'll go 1-6 at best. And that'll reset everybody, and then we can go kick some ass.
Those pitchers haven't ran in a decade. They'll probably pull it.
Maybe still at the pitcher's pitch, but maybe start Kelvin Herrera or something, and then just mix around the position players.
But I want to see Salvi throwing curveballs.
Okay, once the game gets out of hand, we can, Since the Royals can't score more than 2.125 runs in a game, once the other team gets over 3, we then do my great idea, and trot Salvi out there to throw curves. Drew Butera is actually a decent pitcher. I think there's videos of him pitching on the internet in like spring training games and like once or twice in a regular game, and he wasn't bad. He has like a high 80s fastball. And a decent, he didn't look terrible. I think that was Drew Butera.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Anyway, you got anything else you want to throw in here on the GOAT Show?
I'm gonna go back to the draft real quick. Oklahoma running back Joe Mixon getting picked, right? All the controversy around that.
Yes.
Yes. But here's my problem with this. I'm fine with you drafting the guy. You can take flyers. A lot of teams do. But how the hell is Ray Rice not in the league and you pick some douchebag like Joe Mixon?
Because Ray Rice averaged like 3.2 yards per carry in his last NFL season.
Joe Mixon's probably going to beat 30 women in his NFL career, and they're just going to keep him.
I mean,
Ray Rice has a one.
There's a video. There's a video of both of them. But the thing is, Joe Mixon, whatever the heck his name is, I'll just call him Richard Nixon. Richard, his incident happened before he was even at Oklahoma, and so he's young enough that you're able to make the argument he's changed. Like, teams don't care what he does as long as he doesn't get in trouble, but they have to put on a face for the media. And so they're going to toss out we did our due diligence, and we believe that young men can change. It happened a long time ago. He's matured a lot. He's done all this different stuff. Community service, blah, 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 blah. We did our due diligence. We did our due diligence. We did our due diligence. We interviewed him. We did due diligence. And if he's awesome, you'll forget about it because you'll love him because he's awesome. And if he sucks, you'll forget about it because he won't be on the team anymore, and who cares? So there's people out of the NFL that are with shit that aren't even close to what that guy's done. Yeah, there's the argument that if you come into the NFL draft having beat a woman, you are less blacklisted than if you come in the NFL having failed a couple drug tests. Okay, so yeah, like people who get suspended a whole damn year for marijuana, I don't give a shit about marijuana. Like, it helps your players honestly probably feel better. And who doesn't want their player feeling better coming into a game? Jesus. But you're going to take a guy who's going to go out after games and get in trouble all the time? Yeah, the best stance on marijuana for the NFL is don't ask, don't tell. Just like the NBA. When was the last time you heard about an NBA guy getting suspended for weed? Never, and I bet 80% of them do it. Yeah, there you go. Take the NBA approach. Nobody talks about the NBA and weed. People are talking about the NFL and weed because Roger Goodell's a moron and came out talking about it. You know? Nobody talks about the NBA and weed, and you associate weed with the NBA more, probably. Yeah, I would. So, and the thing is, the NBA actually tests for weed during the season. This is something I read about. The NBA is the only major sports league that tests for marijuana during the season. The NFL tests for it during the off-season. Baseball does not test for it at all. And I believe hockey tests for it during the off-season. Basketball does. But you just warn the players. You know, you're not legally required to test for weed. Like, there's no United States law saying that, you know, the Phoenix Suns are required to test their players for weed. You know, that's a government thing. If they get caught with it, the government, you know, they'll be arrested or whatever. That's not the team's responsibility. The team has no obligation to do that. The league has no obligation to do that. You can warn them. It's not illegal. Just tell them, hey, we're going to test you for weed in 2 weeks. I can just tell you right now, I'll take a pothead. Like that guy who they showed a video of, was it like Tunzel or some crap? Yeah, Larry that Tunzel. Has like that massive
take that guy over Joe Mixon every single day of the week.
I mean,
every single day.
I don't know how Laramie Tunsil's doing.
I don't care how he's doing. You don't know how Mixon's going to do him, but I'm just saying if you have him in the same draft, are you taking the guy who smokes a bunch of weed, or are you taking a guy who has a history of domestic violence?
We're getting into a lot of good topics. I didn't even have this on there, but yeah. I am personally unless you're drafting a quarterback or a different position that you're expecting this guy to be a leader. So maybe your white middle linebacker that you expect to lead the team on defense. Or okay, you don't have to be white, but that's kind of the stereotype. Like your Luke Kuechly is the poster child for middle linebacker. If you're drafting, unless you're drafting this guy to be a leader, so primarily just quarterback. I don't care about your character. I don't care about your weed. I don't care about anything else as long as you're good at football. Now, the NFL team should, because they should care about like maintaining a good locker room and not having shit go down.
Exactly.
But I do not care about it. Now, if you're drafting a quarterback, I want you to be flawless. If you're like, I would not have wanted Jameis Winston for his stealing freaking crab legs or whatever the hell that was in college, because he couldn't get out of his own way. He had a couple incidents, I think. I don't remember what they were, but I remember the stealing crab legs. I want my quarterback to be the poster child. I want this guy to be the kind of guy that could go on some Life Family magazine as well as on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Because that is a position that you need to be a leader, and you need to be able to set an example for your teammates.
Patrick Mahomes fits that bill, Caleb. So.
Also, I don't like drafting quarterbacks, period. I think I've mentioned that. In drafting quarterbacks, I like taking flyers, and maybe you'll run into one, and you'll get your Russell Wilson for the next 15 years. Or just do what the Chiefs have done. You can win a Super Bowl doing it this way. It's harder to win a Super Bowl this way. I prefer the Chiefs' way has pretty much just been be average, be above average to average, and then eventually the Chiefs will run into one and they'll win a Super Bowl. It hasn't happened yet, but they will. The other approach,
I'm just tired of
the other approach to it is the 49ers are a bad example. Give me a team. I don't know. We can call you the Browns, but the Browns haven't ever hit the upside of it. Give me a second. I'll give you a good example here. We'll go with the Raiders. The Raiders were garbage forever, and the Raiders drafted quarterbacks. What was that one guy's name that sucked ass? Jamarcus Russell. And they went high, and Jamarcus Russell didn't pan out, so the Raiders spent another 10 years. Not quite 10 years. I believe 6 or 7 years before 8 years. They drafted Jamarcus Russell in 2008. They didn't make the playoffs until last year. And so the Raiders were down forever, and then eventually they finally landed on Derek Carr, and now they're back up to the top. And so they're taking a lot more roller coastery approach, whereas the Chiefs are taking the nice slow and steady wins the race approach. And I prefer that. I'd prefer not to have an absolute garbage team half the time, or more than half the time, really, because quarterbacks don't normally hit.
Yeah, I agree. With the mix, I was just bringing up the mixing thing because that just bothers me.
Yeah. And
seeing douche.
The Bengals are a team that does not care about your character. You know, they got Pac-Man Jones on their team. They've got, what's the heck is the name of that guy?
Vontez Perfect.
Probably. That sounds right.
Antonio Brown on the skull and the play. Like, that's perfect. But, like, to me, hell, you got people out here, like, that are undrafted that deserve to, probably should have been drafted. They're sitting there because you took a douchebag that doesn't even deserve to be making that money, in my opinion. That's freaking retarded. And they get away with it. They get away with all that stuff. Most of them do. And it's dumb as hell.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but like I said, unless you're the quarterback, I don't care. I mean, I care on a personal side, but I'm not looking at it from a personal side. I'm looking at football.
If I'm looking at football, I still care. With the locker room, there can't be good from that.
Well, the thing is, you've got to know who you're dealing with. Like Tyreek Hill, he did the same thing. There's no video of it though, so it's not as bad. If there's a video of Joe Mixon or whatever the heck his name is, I still can't think of it right. I say it right. With Tyreek Hill though, the Chiefs might have actually done their due diligence. Like I make fun of it because it's what every team that ever drafts somebody bad is going to say. We did our due diligence. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, you go to a coach like Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, that's a good influence. And the city of Kansas City over like the city of Los Angeles or New York or something, where you're more likely to get into trouble. He's also was from a smaller school, so he's used to more of a homey type environment. And the other biggest one is he's turned out to be a really quiet type guy. We don't know what he does in his personal life. He might be out there beating women, but he at the very least, because I don't know what Tyreek Hill does in his off time, but he's a really quiet type dude. He's not out there, yelling in the mic like our homie who makes Cowboys draft picks that I still can't think of the name of. He's a nice, calm guy, and he seems like a good guy. I can actually buy the whole, he's improved himself since then story with him.
Yeah, I get that he's a good football player stuff, but if I were the thing, I wouldn't. If I were the GM or whatever, I wouldn't draft him like that.
Well, continuing my line of just quoting random things I've heard on 610 over the last week, they were talking about this whole story, and there was apparently 4 teams that were willing to draft Joe Mixon, so he just ought to be really glad he went in the second round. It was that one of those 4 teams decided that he was worth reaching in the second round.
Know the other 3 teams?
I can't remember what they were talking about him on there, but the Bengals traded down to get him. Like they traded down like 10 picks or something, and then picked him there. So
okay, first of all, they have
the Bengals
Bernard and Jeremy.
Yeah, the Bengals obviously knew who else wanted him. And I would also say don't draft the Bengals backfield next year because they've got 3 really solid running backs.
Okay, the only way I can see it, the Bengals backfield is if Jeremy Hill gets hurt and Giovanni Bernard is your pass catcher. Mixon can do everything. I will say he's an elite talent at running back. He's just a complete.
In PPR, it might be worth a flyer on.
That's it. Yeah.
Even then, I don't know. Running back is becoming such a committee thing, like 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago. Running back.
If you want a rookie running back in fantasy is Christian McCaffrey or Dalvin Cook.
I don't like how you like Christian McCaffrey because I don't want to draft him in the first round in fantasy, but I might have to because you like him. Because I want Christian McCaffrey bad.
I'm probably not going to draft him first round, just saying, because I don't want to waste a flyer because I've done that before, and last season was horrendous for me.
Who'd you draft in the first round last year?
I don't know. But Dalvin Cook is another guy I would reach on. Because Adrian Peterson gone, he's getting the carries, and you know he is.
All right, I'm investigating this whole draft story. This is going to be the longest GOAT show ever. I think we're on like an hour and 15 right now. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that at all.
Leonard Fournette's going to be another one, even though there's 2 other running backs there. I mean, Chris Ivory's dump.
Yeah.
Yeldon's dump. Some 3 yards a carry.
How do I open this up?
What are you trying to look for?
I'm trying to look at our last year's fantasy stuff.
Oh.
All it shows me is that I was 7-7 and missed the playoffs because I was 5th in the league.
I'm just saying Dalvin Cook is a guy that the Chiefs were looking at, I think. We just didn't get because he didn't fall. Kings traded up for him, which they need to without Peterson and starting running back.
So I don't think it's going to let me back in. That's weird. It let me back in last year. I remember I looked at this sort of stuff before last year's draft. Whatever. Anything else? While we're ranting about random stuff?
I think I'm good because we need to save that fantasy stuff for later.
Sporting beat Salt Lake City 3-0 tonight. And
good for them.
Ian
I
took
guess
Ashley to the game.
no one knows who Ashley is, but yeah.
Our friend Ian Jones probably is getting laid right about now.
Oh God, no, he's not. For people out there that watch this, he has no game and it won't go anywhere. And when he watches it, he'll tell me to.
Don't worry about it. We have Nick and Ian are pretty much the maximum audience that will watch to this point. That's the only people that might even possibly watch this far.
And here's my diss I just said. He'll tell me to fuck off next time he talks to me, and that's about the end of it.
Ian, I hope your Joe... Is it Nixon or Mixon?
It's Mixon.
Yeah, in my head I keep thinking Nixon. All right, Joe Mixon her ass. Preferably with your penis and not your freaking fists, but either or.
We know neither is going to happen because Ian would be scared of confrontation from even a female. He'd be like, "Don't hit me."
Oh, don't diss on my boy Ian. Yeah.
Don't call him your boy.
That's my
wrong with you?
That's my nig, man.
I might as well end this. This is getting dumb.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching to this point. This seemed like a decent show. We had some random pauses because we were making statements and I had to go research them. So that's probably not the best way to run a show. Tune in. We've got one hole of a new golf vlog that should be up following this video. This video is probably going to go up on a Monday. This video will probably be up Monday, and then the golf vlog will probably be up Tuesday. So check.
We should tell the people about a scramble we might be vlogging.
Yeah. There's going to be a. I was actually going to mention that in the future videos, but yeah, we've got one hole of Osawatomie. I've also got a video going up sometime soon of my brother talking about this project vehicle that we're working on. Also in the future, I want to make a golf club bag tour. Plus, we've got a 3-man scramble tournament that could be happening here in the near future. We're going to be taking on our old high school as well as a neighboring town's high school team in a 3-man scramble, 3 best from each place. The West Franklin alumni versus the Ottawa and current West Franklin golfers. And so that should be a nice ass whooping we provide.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, I can't think of too many other future plans. Tune in a couple weeks or maybe a week, or I don't really. Well, the thing is, without the NFL draft anymore, what are we going to talk? We're probably not going to make a Royals only show. I like having the Royals be our topic, along with something else. So the next big sporting event, probably the NBA Finals, maybe.
The NBA is heating up. I like the.
Yeah, we might do something during the conference finals of the NBA, or maybe just do like a. I would bet we go a little bit, and then we make our next show like before the finals, be like a conference finals wrap up, finals preview.
And then by that point, we'll know if the Royals are literally over.
Yeah, that's gonna be in like 3 weeks, so, right? No, that's gonna be in like a month and a half.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit longer than that.
Fuck the NBA playoffs. I don't know what... Alright, at some point we will make another show. Just know that. This show is going on too long. I'm cutting it off now. Goodbye.